In this world, the so-called witches exist. They possessed unimaginable abilities and were thus deemed as the incarnation of evil. Our protagonist Chen Yan, who was a modern-day engineer, crossed into a body of a medieval prince, who devoted his life to merging modern industrial technology and the magical abilities witches possessed to build a strong kingdom where he meets his witch harem. The story begins with Chen Yan feeling someone calling him, tapping him on the shoulder and whispering in his ears, "Wake up, Your Highness, wake up." He heard. Slowly opening his eyes, waking up confused, not knowing where he is, sitting on a cold metallic chair, in his very own eye, sees a strange landscape, with small wooden and brick houses, and a bunch of people standing together and chanting something he couldn't quite understand. The memory in his brain seems to be connected suddenly. He is in the body of Roland Wimbledon, the fourth prince from the kingdom of Grey Castle. Introducing us to the fight for the throne decree, created by Roland's father, a decree to decide who will become the successor of the throne. All 5 of his children are assigned a task, sending them to 5 different territories, and evaluate based on their abilities to govern during 5 years. He then will decide who becomes his successor. Chen Yan, from now on, we will refer to him as Roland. Roland soon realized this is not a real-time strategy video game. It was not a fair competition, since the starting conditions of everyone is not equal. The story then briefly introduces us to the 4 other princes and princesses. The first prince possesses extremely high martial strength, but a muscle head. The second prince is ultra-wealthy but insidious. The third princess, whose military strength and commanding attribute is over the root, also very ferocious. Moving on to the youngest princess, highly intelligent, beautiful but quiet. Last but not least, our protagonist, Roland, the fourth prince, spends all his time drinking and indulging in pleasure, and loves courting death. He was assigned to this border town where a bird wouldn't even want to poop at, an underdeveloped town with a low population, poor, and where excrement is casually dumped around. Roland covers his head, understanding how terrible of a spot he's in. Before he finished his thoughts, a body of old men, with faces full of gray hair, urged Roland to start the execution. Roland looked around, and he sees people standing at the center square, all looking towards one place. It was the gallows, a medieval instrument used to execute criminals. On the gallows, a hemp rope was tied on top of a person who was wearing a dirty gray shirt and had her hands tied behind her, with her slightly raised chest, long blonde hair, and skinny frame. Not hard to tell it was a female, shivering on the stand while the wind blew past her hair. Roland condemns such behavior in his mind, can't believe what he is witnessing. Not understanding why would people do such a stupid thing. "Release that witch," Roland yelled loud and clear, leaving his minister, his guard, and the residents in shock. Roland tried to play it off by saying he was tired. He wanted to do the execution another day. Suddenly, Roland's chief knight named Carter tried to dissuade Roland to continue carrying out the execution. Since the identity of the witch has already been confirmed, she must be killed. Afraid of other witches might come and rescue her. Roland, looking at the knight, thinks in his mind, a knight whose arm is bigger than an average person's torso is afraid of girls half his size. How ridiculous. Roland walked away, saying, "It's better to attract a few more witches, so they can catch them all together." Without explaining further, Roland headed back to his dilapidated castle, shutting his door and sighed. Roland finally had the time to process what was going on. He must have died from overworking and got crossed into this world. Roland soon overcame the fear of transitioning into an unfamiliar world, accepted his identity as Roland, and decided to dig for more information about this world. Later that day, Roland and Carter, the chief knight, slowly climbed down the stairs, arriving at the bottom of the border town's prison. Carter continuously warns about the danger of a witch, but Roland simply taunted him, saying how could his chief knight be scared of a girl. Moments later, they arrived at the bottom of the prison. This was a small cell, covered with thick metal bars. In the cell, a girl curled up in the corner, wearing the same dirty thin gray shirt, had her hands tied behind her back. She stood up, staring directly at Roland. Roland blushed as he saw how beautiful the young lady was. She had light blue eyes, calm like a lake. He couldn't see any fear, anger, or hatred in her eyes. Roland asked her to walk closer so he can have a closer look. Carter immediately jumped in front of Roland, demanding her to not walk close and warning them again how dangerous a witch is. Roland tapped on Carter's shoulder and told him to calm down. Roland then asked to hear the witch's story. She then explained, her name is Anna, and his father used to work in the mine. But the mine collapsed, and he was trapped inside. A mine worker seized the opportunity and stole away the valuables on him. It was caught red-handed by a neighbor couple of Anna. The thief then charged at the neighbor couple with a pickaxe, knocking him down. And just as he tried to kill the neighbor, Anna awakened her ability, killing and scorched the thief. They later saved Anna's father from the mine, and Anna begged the neighbor to not report her. Roland interrupted Anna, and from the look of it, the neighbor must have reported her. Turns out, it was Anna's father who reported her. The minister again urged Roland to execute her after hearing Anna's confession. Roland declined and was curious about the witch's powers. After hearing what Roland said, Anna started laughing, ridiculing Roland, and questioning him. "You want to see what you guys so-called power of the devil?" Roland was unmoved and demanded to see the power. Anna was wearing a locket that seals the power of witches. Anna was surprised by Roland's bravery. Standing tall, stared directly at Roland's eye and told him his curiosity might get him killed. Before Anna can finish her sentence, Roland reached his hand towards the locket and tore it apart. The locket. Anna looked stunned. She was startled looking at Roland as Roland threw the broken locket behind him and told Anna to show her power again. Seconds later, warmth filled the cell as a spark of flame rises underneath Anna's bare feet, bursting into dazzling lights. Roland was amazed. At the same time, he could not comprehend how did this happen. Was this chemistry? Some sort of technology? Or actual magic? Instantaneously, Anna slowly walked towards the cell gate. The flames are so hot, they melted the metallic bar into liquid form. Carter quickly rushed in front of Roland, trying to protect him. Roland shockingly looks at the melted metal bars, amazed by the power of witches, finally understanding why people are so afraid of them. Anna burns the rope tied behind her back and raised her hand, walking closer and closer to Roland. Moments later, the flames disappeared, as if nothing ever happened, other than the steam and the smell of burning metals. Roland finally confirmed that magic really exists in this world. He was not in fear. He was not scared. Rather, he is extremely excited, thinking how Anna's power can be utilized on so many things: steam engines, steel smelting, casting irons, and crafting modern tools. Anna looked at him, telling Roland she has fulfilled his curiosity. Now, kill her already. Looking at the fragile but strong girl, who barely has clothes on, Roland took off his jacket and threw it onto Anna, holding his hands out, and confidently said he had decided to hire Anna. After seeing the power of Anna, Roland immediately thought of the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the state of entropy of the entire universe, as an isolated system, will always increase over time. But in this world, with the power of magic, this problem can easily be solved. And this is even more impressive than the invention of the perpetual motion machine. The minister was in great shock after hearing Roland wanted to hire a witch. Roland didn't want to explain himself, immediately demanding the minister to have an employment contract drafted, also telling the minister to arrange a place for Anna to live in. Upon leaving the prison, Roland returned to his residence. The minister did not give up convincing him how dangerous the witches are, and told Roland's behavior is too risky. Roland interrupted the minister and told him he does not view witches as demons or monsters. He then said, "We have no money, we have no army, we have nothing. And for him to be able to compete with his fellow brother and sisters, he needs witches to help him. And people should stop their prejudice against witches." The minister was astounded by Roland's speech. Roland then asked the minister to bring Anna to see him. Meanwhile, Anna was being bathed by two maids. After cleaning her, the maid brought out a work outfit for Anna to try on. Anna was a bit shy after seeing the weird outfit, but still decided to put it on. Outside the residence, a maid is leading Anna toward Roland. Roland and Carter are looking at a wooden shack, which they built for Anna to practice smelting. Moments later, Anna arrived shortly. Upon seeing Anna in her new outfit, Roland was dazed, seeing Anna with her long silky, lustery shining hair, milky-like skin, a beautiful bloom look, slim but proportional body. Lightly blushed as she looked towards Roland. Roland was indeed sure about his decision. He thought that the normal worker's outfit is too boring, and the magician's robes are too bulky. But the maid's outfit is perfect for Anna. And asked why is Roland treating her this well, even signing a contract with her, as memory flashes in her head. How terribly everyone was treating her after knowing she was a witch. Roland once again put his hand out and confidently said he does not believe in those crap. He trusts Anna and believes in her power. Something sparked in Anna's eye as she lays her hand on top of Roland's hand, holding his hand and promising to assist Roland and learn how to control and use her power. In the wooden shack, the room is filled with steam. Anna breathing heavily. Anne was practicing controlling her ability. After failing numerous times, flames continued to rise from her feet, soon expanding and covering her entire body. Whoosh! All of a sudden, Anna lost control of the fire, and her clothes were burnt again. Suddenly, they heard a loud knock on the door, followed by Carter and the minister sprinting towards the shack and reporting that a patrolling squad have reported traces of demonic beasts. Everyone was shocked and worried, including Anna. But this left Roland confused,